Well, this is going to be day 11, and it's Saturday. Uh, I know I said I wasn't going to travel on Saturday, but after tying up at that dock, I realized that there was nothing around there but marshlands and no way of me going out and getting groceries or anything that I might need. Uh, I looked up on the map and I realized that we weren't that far away from Fernandina Beach. So I decided to go ahead and take off and get there. It was going to be maybe a 2.5 hour boat ride over there. And I looked up, there was a marina, a municipal marina there. They had fuel, so I figured I could pick up fuel. And since it was Saturday, I was going to go ahead and spend Saturday and Sunday there. So I didn't have to deal with all the boat traffickers going out on the weekends. Um, uh, as I started heading that way, I kind of was thinking that that is probably going to be my very last stop in the state of Florida. Come Monday morning, when I take off from there, I'm basically about 10 minutes away from the Georgia Florida line border. So I'll actually, out of 15 states that I got to cross, I can write one off Monday. Uh, I'll be down to 14 states after I cross into Georgia. I'm kind of hoping that it gets a little bit better as far as fuel prices and everything in Georgia, because in Florida it's getting pretty expensive to be running. Uh, After running for a little while, I noticed there was some cloud coming up, and this is what I was saying earlier. It's one of our summer squalls. They, this clouds pop up out of nowhere, uh, and it didn't look like much, so I figured, well, I'll probably end up going right through it and not get any rain or anything through here. So it wasn't no big deal. It wasn't very dark cloud, so I figured even if it had some rain, it didn't look like it had too much rain. As you can see, the water's real nice and smooth. The winds were perfect. There was hardly any winds. I think it was like 5 mile per hour winds. So I was able to cruise pretty quick and actually faster than normal because I didn't have the current and I didn't have the wind to deal with. So instead of taking me 3 hours, it actually only took me, I would say, about 2 hours and 10 minutes. So it always does save you time when everything is kind of running, going your way. Uh, the water's smooth right now. Uh, there is hardly any wind whatsoever, uh, and that's why you can travel a little bit faster. Uh, and like I said, I wasn't going very far either. I was just going to go down to the Saint Fernandine or Fernandina Beach, which is almost right on the Georgia Florida line. But at least I would have a place to stay and shower and go get groceries and everything else. Uh, that cloud started getting a little bit darker as the closer I got, and I kept thinking, well, it also looks like it's getting a little bit bigger. So I was kind of thinking, I hope I'm not going to run into a quick storm like I did a few days back, where I couldn't even see where the channel markers were. Uh, at one time, when I would make a turn, it looked like, okay, now I'm going away from it, and then all of a sudden I'm right back going right straight at it again. Um, I decided, well, I'm not going to stop. It's not that big of a cloud, and I don't think it's going to be a serious rain if I do get caught in it. And as I got a little bit closer, it started raining. As you can see on the windshield here, it started getting pouring down a little bit. It wasn't bad. It was pretty quick. And then I could see them smokestacks way up front there. That's actually where I was headed to. That is Fernandina Beach. And there is a municipal marina there, which I had already checked to see whether they had fuel, that I could get fuel, and also that they had some transit slips available. Not all marinas have transit slips, and not all marinas have any. They only allot so many of them for transit boaters going, staying 1 or 2 days, mainly because they make more money on the slips where somebody stays a week or somebody stays a month at a time. They make more money on those slips than renting them out to boaters that are, just passing by, or only going to be there for a day or two. Because they still require the same thing as far as, keeping up with the showers and everything, keeping everything clean all around, all the place. But I finally went ahead and made it, and as you can see, I'm coming into the fuel dock here. And now I'm on channel 16, and I'm trying to get a hold of the marina, and they're not answering. So I'm just kind of right in front of the fuel pumps, going around in circles, waiting for them to answer. Finally, somebody did answer, and they said, go ahead and come on in. There should be somebody already waiting at the docks. And I look around, and there's a guy standing there, but he was a tourist. He was not one of the dock masters. I could see further down, there was a lady in that blue shirt there. She actually works there, and she's one of the dock helpers. But she was helping another boater that was fueling up with diesel. So I figured, well, I'll come around again, maybe one more time, and see if she sees me, that I'm coming in, and she'll come over and tie me up. They get kind of funny when you're trying to dock into the fuel, where the fuel pumps are. They don't really like you to come in on your own. They prefer that one of the employees is there to help you get in. I tried to come in and see if I could kind of just slow her down a little bit. And as you can see, I kind of bumped it again. And then the lady saw me, and she started coming on over. So now I went ahead and was able to throw her a line, and she was able to go ahead and tie me up. And I started, and she went ahead and gave me the pump, and I started go ahead and pumping the fuel. Like I said, I only fill one tank up at a time. And earlier I had mentioned I had 18-gallon tanks. Well, turns out I only have 16-gallon tanks. So now we still haven't been able to. She tied up one line, but now she's trying to pull the other, the boat, to tie up the back line. And I basically just walked back there, and I threw her a line, so she was able to grab the line and push the boat from the back end, so that I was parallel with the docks. And as soon as that happened, she went ahead and handed me the pumps, and I started go ahead and pumping the fuel in. It doesn't take long to pump the fuel in here, but I did have to. I also was going to go in and register. I had to register, so she said, go ahead and just stay tied up here. I'll let them know how much fuel you got, and you can go ahead and register and see if they got transit slips, and they'll get you your rates and everything you need to know. So I did. That's exactly what I did. After I finished pumping the fuel, I went ahead and went up to the office there, and at first they said they didn't have a transit dock, and they were all full. And when I asked them, I said, it's only a 22-foot boat. You could basically fit me in a bathtub if you want. And he says, well, let me see what we got. And all of a sudden they look again and they said, okay, there's one spot we could probably put you in, and we can still provide electric and water for you. So I asked the guy at the office, I said, well, do you have any type of discounts? And he says, oh, are you U.S. boat member? I said, yeah, I am. And he said, well, yeah, we can give you a discount on the fuel. It wasn't much, trust me. It was somewhere in the reference of 26 cents off. You know, when you put in right at almost $100 worth of fuel, 26 cents is, not what you consider a big discount. But anyway, I guess it was better than nothing. But as I was signing up for the docks and everything, I kind of asked them, I said, hey, it's getting pretty expensive here. Do you have any other type of discounts, senior discount or veteran discount or, old fart discount? And he just said, no, there's no other discounts. We can't discount anything else, not even the docks. I said, okay, well. So they went ahead and charged me, the regular rate for the docks. But I noticed on the ticket that he didn't charge me for it. It's $12, I think, for electric. And I noticed he didn't charge me for that, even though he knew I was plugging in, because I asked him, what kind of outlets they had. And I had to get an adapter that they gave me, they didn't give it to me. They let me borrow it. I have to turn it back into them. But they'd lend me the adapter so I could hook up to power. So they knew I was hooking up to power. So maybe he figured, hey, I can't give him another discount, but I guess I don't have to charge him the $12 for electric. And it's a small boat. The only reason I need to even plug into power is just so that my battery charger can charge my batteries up. That's all it's got to do. So it's not like I'm going to be using a whole lot of electricity for the 2 days that I'm here. It's a trickle charge battery, and it just trickle charges my batteries and brings them back up to full. And within the 2 days that I'm going to be tied up here, it'll bring on both my batteries all the way up. I carry two batteries. One is a starting battery, and the other one is a house battery. They're both lithium batteries, and they're pretty good. The house battery is a 200 amp hour battery, where the starting battery is a 100 amp battery. And they both, I have an inverter hooked up so that I can run a 24 volt air conditioner. So far I haven't had to use the air conditioner. It's been nice and cool. But anyway, they went ahead and gave me my slip number and everything, and here I am coming around, getting ready to get into the slip. They mentioned, that there was probably be one or two guys out there already trying to bring another boat in and tie them up, that there would be another guy out that, they should be able to help me come in. And it's kind of like a slow process, because one, you can't go fast while you're in front of Marina. Marina is a no wake zone. So anywhere you see a Marina, it's a no wake zone automatically, because they don't want these big wakes pushing these boats all over the place in the marinas. So it's automatically no wake, and so you got to take your time. You got to be slow about it. You can't rush it. And not only that, you don't want to, go in at full blast into a dock thinking, oh yeah, I can stop the boat and when it needs to. Well, so I've seen some people try that, and it doesn't work very well. I go in kind of slow, and I still bump into the docks, mainly because I keep trying to guess how slow do I need to go, and I'm still going too fast. I should have stopped the motor from turning long ways before they did. But anyway, here I am turning into the docks here, and right in front of me is this big old thing dredging the channel. You can see there's a crane all the way in the front of it, and what it does is that crane has a shovel in it, and it picks up all the soot and dirt and sand that's everything down there. on the channel, so it opens up the channels when they get plugged up. So I got to try and slide in between them and the dock over here where I got to go to. But again, it's a small boat. It's not like I'm going to have, huge problem getting in and out of there. And I didn't. It was fairly easy. I just, and the guy, when he saw me, he kind of slowed down and stopped what he was doing. The guy working the crane, as soon as he saw me coming in, he kind of slowed and stopped what he was doing until I passed him, and then he went back to work again. And here I am, trying to put it in right in. I'm supposed to go in between those two boats over there. It's, again, just a slow process. You got to just take your time, slowly move it in, slowly guide it. And the good thing is that there were two guys waiting for me there for me to tie up. So instead of me trying to catch a cleat with my line, you just throw the line to these guys here, and they take care and tie you up. They'll bring you in and tie you up, and it saves your boat, because now you're not going to be banging it into the dock while you're coming in. Once you get close enough to throw them a line, you just throw them the line. They catch it. They go ahead and run that line around the cleat there, and then after that, then you're set. You just put out a fender or two, depending on. I normally just use one fender because it's not a big boat again. And it normally helps. But you can see the wind started pulling me, so he needed to hurry up and tie me up before I ran into the dock. But he was able to save it, and keep the boat from hitting the dock and hitting the boat in front of me too. But that's not, that wasn't that big a critical thing. Once I was able to give them the other line, then they were able to tow me to go ahead and straighten me out. It'll take them just a few minutes for the other guy to start pulling on the line, and then they'll straighten me out and tie me up, which is, nice of them. Of course, they work on tips, or they get paid, but they also, they're kind of used to, receiving a tip for tying up and helping you out, which you want to tip them, mainly because they do help you, from crashing your boat into the docks. If you're alone, especially, when you have to handle your lines and also control your steering and control your speed, there's a lot of things that's involved in coming in. So it does help that these guys, and then you give them a tip, and they'll just split whatever they get. I gave the lady over at the fuel docks a tip also. So from my understanding, they put all their tips into one jar, I guess, and then they divide it amongst them all the dock workers that help, tie up boats and stuff like that. Now I'm tied up already, and I figured, well, I'll, take a shot of the scenery around here and go downtown and see what's down there. It's a nice little place. It's not a bad looking little place, and here I am tied up now, plugged into power, and I'm actually flushing the engine right now, getting all the salt water out of it. And there's a boat right there. Can't remember what the name of it was, but that's what you call a yacht. That boat can make it just about anywhere, go anywhere. Here's a fishing vessel right here. This fishing boat can fish anywhere in the world. It wouldn't take much for it to go anywhere it wants to go, and that is an ocean-going boat. It's used for big-time fishing. The marlin and the big fish, the swordfishes and everything. There's the office to the marina there, and I went ahead and walked around as I walked up the plank, you could see there was, on the left-hand side, is a restaurant. It looks like a pretty nice restaurant. but I didn't eat there. I decided, one of the dock guys was telling me, when I asked him, I said, what kind of good food they got there? And he says, well, it's not bad food, but if you really want a nice meal, go down to the Salty Pelican, which was not very far. It was within walking distance. Here you can see, where the showers, the restrooms, the lounge area was. First thing I did is walk into the lounge area and got me a cup of coffee because I hadn't had coffee this morning. So that was something that to sit down and relax. It was nice and air conditioned. It kind of cooled me off a little bit. And the restaurant was looks pretty nice. Probably end up eating there tomorrow and see what it's like. And then I went around to the downtown, and there's a building right there that is an old train stop building. Here's where I decided to eat. It's called Salty Pelican. And here's a view of the downtown area. The food was pretty good at that Salty Pelican, I gotta admit. And it was reasonable. It wasn't expensive. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a gentleman over there. There's the restaurant. I was talking to a gentleman at the bar about how expensive it was getting just to get fuel and making the trip. And there was two ladies sitting next to us, and they happened to be listening. And well, here, I want to show you this thing here before I continue with the other story. And that people call me weird, and crazy. Well, this guy's really crazy. He got a boat and he turned it into a car. Anyway, getting back to the story, while I was sitting at the bar eating at that restaurant, I kind of happened to mention to the guy next to me who was a charter captain, and he had his boat, same Marina where mine is, and I was explaining to him how expensive fuel is, in Florida, and he happened to mention, well, it gets a little bit better in Georgia. I think because you're in Florida and there's a lot more boaters here, it costs more, but it gets better. Well, these two ladies that were sitting next to us I guess were listening in our conversation, and when the ladies finished eating, one of the ladies gave the bartender her card, and she told him, go ahead and I'll pay for their two meals. And I kind of I thought I heard her wrong, and I said, ma'am, you don't have to do that. And she says, well, maybe it'll help you with your finances on your trip. I know it's not much, but maybe it'll help. Turns out that the two ladies were in town for a conference. I don't want to get anybody in trouble, so I'm not going to say who they were. They told me their names and everything. They told me what kind of conference they were here for and all that. So I'm not going to mention anything about the conference or what kind of conference it was, because like I said, I don't want to get them in trouble. So but yeah, it was very thoughtful of her. I went ahead and thanked her, and the captain that was the charter captain that was there actually invited the two ladies to go to a bar, and he would buy them drinks. So I sat on the bench with this guy and started talking to him, but he wasn't very talkative, so went ahead and got up and decided to walk around and see what else was around. Here is Florida's oldest bar, apparently. I don't know if that's true or not. St. Augustine is the first town in Florida. I don't know. I can't believe they didn't have any bars in St. Augustine. But these guys claim that this is the first bar in Florida. And of course they got the pirate sitting out there guarding, all the beer, I guess. When I went in here, there was a bunch of guys from a motorcycle chapter all in there, and I thought I was going to go in there and grab something to eat. Turns out, all they had is liquor. That was all. Couldn't buy. They didn't have a menu of any kind. But anyway, here's another thing: is you got a train coming right smack down in the middle of all of this going on. Which I know a lot of small towns in the old days used to have trains going right through the middle of downtown. It was never a big deal or anything. But I hadn't seen it in ages. Also, I thought I'd put this up when I saw it here. It's referencing a corporal in the United States Marine Corps, and he was in Afghanistan, I guess, and from their son, brother, and hero. And it says freedom is not free. So obviously he not around. But this is my dinner. It's Romney noodles, beef tips, onions, cilantro, jalapenos, crackers, and almond joy, bottled water, Pepsi, and the cheese, the cheese dip. Threw it all together, and this is what I come up with. It actually tasted very good, But hey, this was the old college try, these Romney noodles. College kids used to buy them because they were cheap. They only used to cost like 15 cents, and at least it would fill you up. But this is Saturday. We got one more day here. And we'll see you tomorrow then. Good night. Bye.